Paxton Wojcik, Jalen Withers, Armando Bacot, James Okonkwo, and Creighton Lebo. In white, it'll be R.J. Davis, Cormac Ryan, Harrison Ingram, Jalen Washington, Zayden High, Dewey Ferris, and Rob Landry. Blue wins the tip. Cadeau going to take the first shot and knock it down from just beyond the elbow.
Young player that Jeff Lebo, in our conversation with the Carolina assistant prior to this event, said he's one of those guys that's good when the lights are on. And the lights are on unofficially for the first time tonight for Cadeau.
Yeah, that was the thing that stuck out to me too, because he had also said he's quiet. He kind of needs to learn to find his voice, especially if you're going to be the point guard for this program. But I'm curious to see what he does when those lights are on. Nice cut and to the basket for Wojcik, the grad transfer.
Paxton Wojcik from Brown and Elliot Cadeau, the other end of the age spectrum. Off the tip, creates some space, calmly knocks down the mid-range jumper there.
Hands up, hands up, hands up.
Wojcik, with 2 seasons at Loyola College and then 2 more at Brown, had a little under 800 points total between those 4 years at 326 assists. But I think what Carolina fans and what Coach Davis is looking for the most out of him, 3-pointers. In 99 college games, over 100 made threes.
38% from behind the arc last season at Brown, and that is the #1 reason why Paxton Wojcik is at Carolina this year.
There's Cormac Ryan out of New York, the transfer from Notre Dame. Another transfer, Withers off his mark with the shot. Here's Ingram from the corner, has it roll out, and Bacot pulls down the rebound. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes for the team to kind of meld together and get comfortable with each other on the court. When we talk with the coaching staff, it's like, you know, they've been together all summer long. They've been working, they're getting familiar with each other. And we just heard Coach Davis say this group loves to play with each other, but there's still that feeling out process when you have somebody else in a different jersey on the other side.
Yeah, when you love playing with each other, it makes it easier to get acclimated to one another. But still, until you've gone through battles, and as you said, Kyle, with a team wearing another jersey, you sometimes don't know. And that's why it's beneficial that Carolina does open up with 3 straight games against mid-major foes at home before they get into that tough stretch later on in the non-conference play.
Able to get Ryan a look on a squared up 3, couldn't knock it down. Withers spinning, twisting, can't get it, but the putback by Bacot. And that's going to be a fun combo to see out there because Withers can be more of a stretch 4 and Bacot can clean up the glass.
Stretch 4 in Hubert Davis's system. We saw how that paid off in 2022 with Brady Manick. It was something that while Pete Nance filled the role and had his flashes last season, an effective stretch 4 combo with a healthy Armando Bacot, that can be really, really dangerous.
I think the one difference, though, is coaching staff told us Jalen Withers probably the most athletic player on this team. I don't know that that's what would have been said about Brady Manick, although he still had a big enough impact.
Bang, bang.
R.J. Davis on Cadeau, and it's a matchup there that in practice is a little brother, big brother relationship that they really are going to focus on, and they think Davis can help him grow really quickly. Bacot showing a little bit of range. That's one of the things that he has been working on the last couple of off seasons. Told he's slimmed down, lost a few pounds.
And also that he's healthy. You know, that ankle that's bothered him throughout his career, it is not currently a problem at the start of the season, and that's great to see. And for Armando, yes, he's coming back, utilizing the 5th year of eligibility to play 1 more year, but for any of his aspirations at the next level, being able to add that range, being more effective scoring the basketball other than just right under the basket is a necessity.
Some good defense there from Washington that turns into points on the other end for White. Cadeau quickly back up court. pass off the fingertips of Baycott. It'll go back to Team White, who's got the early lead here. Checking into the game, Dewey Ferris. There's Jalen Washington, now in his sophomore season, and kind of like Tiani Key for North Carolina, coming off of injuries. Last year he played, but you could tell there was still some getting comfortable, getting fully back, if not physically, mentally as well.
Yeah, the parallel with the number 13 on the jersey, right? But in the case of Jalen Washington, he's a player that the coaching staff says he's a guy that does the little things right, and they just need him to be healthy. So interested to see the kind of impact that he's going to have in a second season, and ideally a first one fully healthy.
High with a couple of baskets for Team White. High school averaged 17 points, 9 rebounds over 3 seasons at Smithsonian Valley High School before he went to Arizona Prep in Chandler, Arizona. This brings us to our first media timeout here. It's live action with Carolina basketball. An early lead for Team White here in the men's scrimmage for live action with Carolina basketball alongside Matt Krause, Kyle Straub. Last year, Armando Baycott averaged a double-double for his second straight season, 15.9 points, 10.5 rebounds, and he is already showing that dominant force that he can be.
The all-time leader in double-doubles in Carolina basketball history. 6 points early on tonight. Saw him clean up the glass and put it back in, showing off some of the athleticism down there in the low post. As we said, Kyle, he is finally in a full health, in a better physical condition than he was at the start of last year. And coaching staff said he's a guy that they hold to a higher standard. He's been through college basketball for the last 4 years, and that it's reflected in how he's coached on a day in and day out basis.
Yeah, they said if you're coming back for a 5th season, we're going to have to put you at a higher level than everybody else. And that means in practice too. And I've heard some of the comments from some of the players of, I knew he could be dominant, but I didn't know he was that dominant. And they want that every minute from him this season. RJ Davis, another guy they expect to have a lot of dominating performances, gets to the bucket and will be fouled. Leading returning scorer for the Tar Heels at 16.1 points a game last year.
An honorable mention all ACC season.
As a free throw shooter, 88%, which was tops on the team for the Tar Heels last year as well. You see Cadeau there behind him. There'll be times where they're both on the floor, so that'll be 2 ball handlers for Coach Davis. You can put it in the hands of the veteran or the freshman.
Just a lot of versatility.
Cadeau from the free throw line, a little bit strong. Rebound brought down by Harrison Ingram. Ryan back to Ingram, short on the 3. Rebound for Okonkwo.
Can we talk about ball handlers? Seth Trimble, who's not participating in the scrimmage tonight, he's also a guy who's capable of playing with the ball in his hands. In fact, he's a player that you could see play the 1, the 2, or the 3 this season as the Tar Heels look for ways to get him on the court.
Yeah, they've really been happy with the work he has put in the offseason to get better. Coaching staff says we just got to get him confident. Ryan in transition, short on the 3. Look at Cadeau getting down there, getting the rebound coast to coast.
Speed and passing, 2 of the great elements in Elliot Cadeau's game.
I'll stay with blue. Okonkwo battling down there. Out of England, and he's the 3rd Tar Heel who has come overseas. Actually, it was kind of interesting when we were talking about all the different players. I said to Coach Liebel, I said, you have so many players, I need you to introduce us to them so we can introduce them to everybody else. And when he got to Okonkwo, he said, you know, I actually remember my roommate when I played Bucknell back in the day, one of the other players from England. And he said, sometimes I have flashbacks to the accent. Baycott with a spin on the baseline. Okonkwo tried to get the putback, and it'll go to White.
And Okonkwo joined the program the latest of any of the transfers. coming over in July from West Virginia and was playing with the Great Britain national team. So his adjustment period has been shorter than some of the other transfers, but another guy who can provide some depth at the post position and figures to factor in, especially with the shot blocking ability.
Some nice work there from Davis to get the freshman Cadeau off balance and commit the foul on the step back. He sent RJ back to the free throw line again. Davis will not just be looked to handle the ball, but also step it up defensively now that he's a senior. White extending their lead here, still in the first half. We'll have another 12 minutes after a 5-minute break. Still got to get to our second media timeout. Lebo with the shot, knocks down the three. And what a cool story. Creighton Lebo, now a scholarship as the Tar Heels found themselves with a couple extra ones, decided to change his number so he could wear his dad's old number.
He was wearing number 25. 14 was freed up and decided to wear his dad's old number, approached his dad to ask about that. And Jeff Lebo told us it just fills him with so much pride seeing Creighton out there wearing that number 14. But at first he said, well, his mom and his grandparents love it even more so.
Don't expect him to take any of the old jerseys that Dad has laying around and try and wear them, though. He's got to wear his own, he said.
Exactly.
Baycott going to be whistled for the push in the back, clearing Washington out. Withers back on for blue, High back on for white.
Bottom right corner of your screen, you see Rob Landry, a walk-on player who's wearing 22 this year, the same number as his father, Pierce Landry. So Lebo and Landry both changing their numbers this year to honor their fathers.
Washington tries the three off the mark. Carolina a little bit cold here in this first half from beyond the arc. There's a hard foul on Baycott, and that'll send him to the free throw line.
Trying to get up over top of Washington. And
Davis was there, High was there.
whole bunch of bodies.
Baycott last year, 66% from the charity stripe.
It's a player you want to see knocking him down. Presume that he's going to have a lot of opportunities at the free throw line if the offense is flowing the way that it's intended.
Strong on that one. Lane violation, though. He's going to get another chance. They got Cormac Ryan crossing that line a little too early. There's so many newcomers. We asked, what's the biggest thing to get everybody together and get them all on the same page? And they said, hey, listen, it comes down to how do you adjust coming to Carolina and the expectations that come along with it. Everybody's going to be different. Pump fake there from Ryan, kicks back out to High. Going for the screen, instead gives it up. Offensive foul, Washington caught with the illegal screen. Be interesting to see how much playing time Washington gets this year. Saw action in 20 games last year for the Tar Heels. Averaged 2 points a game, but remember back when he was a freshman, Coach Davis said he is the best shooting big I've ever seen coming out of high school.
And we've definitely seen flashes from him. You think about the Virginia game in Charlottesville last year when Armando Baycott went out with the injury early and Pete Nance was unavailable. Washington played a bunch that game. Was critical of keeping the Tar Heels in it until the very late stages.
No, nearly able to knock that one away. White keeps possession. Great feed on the baseline drive, and High with his 6 point. There's a little bit out of control, took some contact and throws it away. And that'll take us to our next media timeout. But Blue doing a good job moving the ball, trying to get themselves back into this one. We'll be back with the final 3:52 of the first half. 5-point lead here for White in the men's scrimmage. Matt Krause alongside myself. I'm Kyle Straub. Take a look at Zayden High getting up high with this dunk on a baseline drive.
True freshman playing in front of Carolina fans for the first time, showing off his hops.
6'9", 225-pound freshman out of Rockwell, Texas. One of two freshmen brought in by the Tar Heels this year, Elliot Cadeau, the other one. And it'll be really fun to see how they integrate themselves into such a veteran lineup with the transfers that were brought in and then the returning Baycott and Davis.
You have to imagine all the transfers coming in is definitely a benefit because there are so many new faces. As the other freshman, Cadeau, so he may have taken a shot to the face there. Got poked in the eye, something like that.
Had the shot blocked from behind by fellow freshman High. The contact is what drew the whistle, and that'll send Cadeau to the free throw line. Second team Max Prep All-American in 2023. Averaged 11 and 7.5 points and assists. Helped lead his team to a 27-1 record. That season really gave him the confidence to make the decision that, hey, you know what, I'm ready to make that jump now. Don't need to wait. Let's reclassify and get into college.
Especially coming off of a sophomore season in high school in which he didn't play due to an ankle injury.
Davis trying to get it ahead. Washington able to save it. Can't get the finger roll, though. Rebound brought down by Wojcik. Back the other way. Beautiful pass from Cadeau to Baycott. Davis being guarded by Wojcik, son of former Carolina assistant. Block from Withers. Ingram there to clean it up, though. And that's something that Ingram is going to give Carolina, kind of that Swiss Army knife. He can do it all.
Really versatile player. You can see him play some at the 3, some at the 4. Kind of the player that allows them to utilize different lineup combinations based on situations as games go along.
Lebo going to be whistled for the foul on the floor. Take another look at this freshman to center or senior connection here.
We've said it that Elliot Cadeau's passing is perhaps his greatest attribute as a player, and you see it on full display there. We asked Jeff Lebo, who does he remind you of any point guard in Carolina history? He said, that's a good question. And the first name out of his mouth was Ed Cota, but not as flamboyant.
You know, I was actually waiting for him to say Kendall Marshall.
I thought so too.
And he said Cota, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's a big time compliment right there. Not to take anything away from Kendall Marshall, but only here a couple of years versus Ed, who, I mean, that's one of those Mount Rushmore guys for Carolina. Right. Foul going to put Cormac Ryan on the free throw line.
Sixth year of college basketball. Kyle, he is currently pursuing his second master's degree. Graduated from Notre Dame with his undergrad degree in business and then his MBA as well.
Started off actually at Stanford too. So 2 Stanford transfers, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, with Ingram as well as Ryan. Ryan played a game against Carolina when he was with Stanford as a freshman, had 14 points against the Heels.
It's a game here in the Smith Center.
He's one of those guys that they're really going to look to help with the 3-point shooting, which was something that they struggled with last season. So the percentage much lower than Hubert Davis would like. Ferris able to get the little finger roll in. Cadeau in the mismatch, going to take Ferris all the way to the hoop, leaves it a little bit short though, and Ferris with the rebound. Back the other way, good ball movement, corner 3. Ryan, nothing but net for White.
That's got to make Carolina fans happy. Pushing the pace in transition, getting a stop on the defensive end, kicking it forward, and knocking down the open look. Meanwhile, R.J. Davis almost just stopped by to say hello. He was able to pump the brakes.
36 steals last season for the Tar Heels, which led the team. Baycott down low with High on him. Good help defense. Ingram able to knock it away, and last touch by Baycott, they said. Savvy move there from Ingram, coming through with Withers just poking it away. Ingram, a late add in the transfer portal for the Tar Heels. Last guy that they got to at least commit. We talked about how Okonkwo a little bit late getting here to campus, but Ingram, the last one they brought in. The connection with Jared Haas being the head coach at Stanford, and now he comes to Carolina. Great defense there, High, relentless, able to take it away and get the bucket.
One freshman stealing it from the other.
But I said Ingram, a Swiss Army knife type of player. Last year, he was one of 7 players in the country, at least in Power 5 schools, to have at least 10.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists on the season. Baycott able to get the and one, and he'll go back to the free throw line. A lot of talk going into last year for North Carolina, coming off that spectacular run through the NCAA tournament, knocking off Duke in the Final Four before eventually falling to Kansas in the national title game. Things didn't go the way they wanted to last year, but I asked the coaching staff, specifically Baycott and Davis coming back, those guys from those teams, where was the mindset? They said hungry.
Yeah, they said they've got a lot on their shoulders, and there's a lot of pain from last season and falling short of those expectations. But even with the newcomers that came in through the portal, you know, Cormac Ryan coming from Notre Dame, they didn't have the season that they wanted. You look at Harrison Ingram and Stanford, they didn't have the season that they wanted. So everybody's kind of collectively bought in, coming into this program, trying to bounce back from a tough year last year. They're all, like you said, Kyle, really, really hungry.
White with a 9-point lead. Ingram sees the clock. They're going to hold for the last one. Davis on Withers. Good defense from Withers, and the shot off the mark from R.J. Davis. 12 minutes in the books. We got 12 more. But we're going to take a break. It is live action with Carolina basketball. Live action gives you the opportunity to get to know the newcomers. Zayden High, one of those newcomers, the freshman, having himself a pretty good night.
6'9" forward, showing off his ability to score around the basket. There's some defense, swiping it from his fellow freshman, Elliot Cadeau, and finishing. Taking a nice feed from R.J. Davis, getting up there with the flush. Zayden High just came over and gave me a fist bump.
He knew you were talking about him, that's why. 21 points his junior season at Smithsonian Valley, then transferred to Arizona Prep, where played Elliot Cadeau in the national championship game. There's Cormac Ryan, hesitation move, gets his own rebound off the miss. He was an interesting guy when we were talking with Coach Lebo, because he said he's one of those dudes that every single play, every single drill, it's like it's a national championship to him.
Cormac Ryan, a guy who plays with a lot of intensity, definitely brings some of that competitive fire and leadership to this program. We saw that on display in the game against Notre Dame here last year, where he was involved in that skirmish along the baseline, wound up getting a flagrant 2 for it.
Big cut from downtown off the back iron. Took 6 threes last year, didn't knock any of them down, but as he has slowly worked on his range, trying to test it out here as well.
It's a good chance to do that. We said the lights are on, but low pressure situation.
Offensive foul win against Ingram on the push-off, so Blue an opportunity to eat into this 9-point lead for White. Jaden Withers with the turnaround, the transfer from Louisville. Spent the last couple of seasons as the captain for the Cardinals.
I think Carolina wants to see deliver energy and attention every day. Those keys for the season.
At 6'9", 215. You can see the length, the athleticism we talked about before, the ability to play multiple positions, which is going to be key for Coach Davis this season while he figures out his rotations and shows the strength there, getting the bucket through contact. He's quickly on the attack. Good position down low for Washington. Couldn't handle the over-the-top pass from high, though. Cano thought about that deep three, instead gives it up. Last year, you look at the breakdown of games for Carolina between their wins and losses. In their wins, Bacot led the team with nearly 18 points a game. In the losses, just over 13 and third on the team in scoring. There's a lot that goes into those reasons, but he is.
And not just his ability to score it, Kyle, but we've talked a lot throughout the night about Carolina looking for proven shooters. Guys like a Cormac Ryan or a Paxton Wojcik that came out of the transfer portal to join the program this year. There were so many games last season in which opponents would shut down Armando Bacot, and there was limited offensive options around him because the shots simply weren't falling. If you get players that can consistently knock in perimeter shots, you're able to withstand an opponent that's going to crowd the paint, try and get Armando in foul trouble, and try and take him out of the game. And that is an element that sometimes last season just wasn't there.
Wojcik, one of those players that you mentioned, nice little move to get down inside. He's actually originally from Chapel Hill, and that's because his dad, Doug, was an assistant for the Tar Heels from 2000 until 2003, and 107 three-pointers in his 4 years, 2 at Loyola Chicago, 2 at Brown. As Davis spots up for a wide-open three, a little bit too strong, though.
Wojcik in there fighting for the rebound. Second team All-Ivy last year, but also, Kyle, academic All-Ivy. That is a high honor right there.
That's a high honor for any conference you're in, but especially when you're in the Ivy. Beautiful move as Cadeau gets to the basket. There's Ingram with Withers on it. Ryan into the paint, surrounded by blue jerseys. And there's going to be a foul whistled against blue. It'll send us to our media break. Elliot Cadeau able to get into the paint. A couple of newcomers for the Tar Heels. Elliot Cadeau, the freshman. Jalen Withers, the transfer. Alongside Matt Krause, I'm Kyle Stroud. Thanks for joining us here on Friday the 13th. Everybody is thinking about Halloween and football, but in Chapel Hill, it is basketball that is on the mind. Nice little turnaround there from Ingram. He gets his first bucket.
Completely forgotten it was Friday the 13th. Does anything bad happen to you today, Kyle?
No, it's been a fantastic day so far.
Same on my end. So there you go.
I think I'm just going to stay here until midnight to make sure that that happens, and then I don't want to test the luck.
Yeah.
Step back from Wojcik, and I think that's going to be an over-the-back Ingram. That is who he will get indeed, battling with Withers down there for the rebound. Talk so much about the newcomers for North Carolina. We didn't talk about one of the newcomers that's actually over on the bench there. One of the coaches for Team Blue, as High gets another easy dunk. Excuse me, that time it was Okonkwo. But Marcus Page back in Chapel Hill. First season on the bench for the Tar Heels. And with the freshman Cadeau, RJ Davis, another young guy in Trimble as a point guard. Page going to be a big guy to go and get some advice from.
Yeah, Marcus Page, one of the best to do it. Remember the 2016 national runner-up team, the ACC championship team, and now is back taking the spot on the Carolina staff that was vacated by Jackie Manuel, another longtime Tar Heel that's now an assistant at American University. So in comes Marcus Page, and definitely one of those guys that can share some wisdom with as you said, Kyle, a whole crop of potential ball handlers for this team.
Hubert said it while BDAT was interviewing him. Pretty sure Carolina is the only school in the country that every assistant played at Carolina as well.
And it's not just the 3 primary assistants, but it's Marcus Page and
all the way down the line.
Well. Yeah.
And that's something that for Carolina is extremely important. Culture, the family, what to expect as far as a point guard in this offense. Baycott slows things down, gets it across to Cadeau. White had a big lead in this one. Blue has slowly chipped away, and it had an opportunity to take the lead. A little bit strong on the 3 from Lebo, but Okonkwo with the offensive rebound and a fresh shot clock. Baycott off the dribble, a little turnaround, and Blue on top for the first time.
Drama lead. Why not?
Davis uses the screen of high to lose Cadeau, and will draw the foul and go to the free throw line. That's one of those things when we were talking with Coach Lebo, he kind of pointed out with Cadeau that as a freshman, he felt like, you know, he came in pretty attuned to the game, but the defense is where the biggest adjustments are going to be. Learning to go around those screens where you're not switching like you do in high school.
Definitely an adjustment period to get up to speed at the college level. Carolina wants him to get his fouling under control a little bit. That's going to be a factor once you get into live game action.
Davis misses the first, makes the second though, to tie this one up at 32 apiece. This is the way the coaching staff drew it up, right? 4 minutes to go in a 24-minute scrimmage and a tie ball game.
Get to work on some situationals.
Withers a corner 3 off the mark, rebounded by White. Cormac Ryan. Good look down low for Washington, and that one's gonna go down. Wojcik with Davis guarding him. Nice spin move and finishes with the left. 3-point threat, but shows he can also take you off the dribble. High looking to get it down low for Washington. Great recovery defense as Withers gets the block from behind. Ingram saves it from going out. Davis for 3. And Withers gives it to his teammate, but he's in the wrong jersey, and White will get a bucket out of it. You could see his face right away. He said, I know you. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that.
Nope.
After the bucket, Ryan gets the steal, runs the break, and Washington throws it down. There's the speed of Cadeau right back the other way, and that's something that Carolina fans love to see from the point guard. Back and forth. I think we're getting a little bit tired out here now.
Yes.
Both teams getting some easy buckets. And that is going to take us to our media timeout. A much needed one. 2.5 to go when we return. Hard to believe it's only the 3rd season for Hubert Davis as the head coach of the Tar Heels. 12 if you count his years as an assistant, plus those 4 as a player winning a national championship. But he and his staff really excited for this season.
A fixture in this program for several years as an assistant. And yeah, it is hard to believe it's only year 3. Took the team to the national championship game in year 1, trying to bounce back from last year's disappointing miss of the NCAA tournament. And this is definitely one of the more talented rosters in the country. Excited to see how it all plays out.
So much has happened in his 2 years. Great challenge there from Washington to get the block on Baycott. You go back to first year, everything that goes around the whirlwind of it being the first year that Carolina has a new head coach since Roy came back. And then they beat Duke on K's last night in Durham, and then they beat Duke in the Final Four. I mean, there was so many storylines that you can go and pick from, and then you have last year where it was kind of the opposite of it.
I mean, even to get to the second Duke game in the Final Four, Carolina was an 8 seed.
Yeah.
You know? So having to knock off Baylor in that epic overtime game and then get through UCLA in the Sweet 16 and end the St. Peter's run. And it was just a remarkable set of events. And as you said last year, it was just,
what a move from Cadeau.
yeah. Nifty take from Cadeau, definitely a bright part of the future to come this year.
Flashes like that, the pass to Baycott in the first half. Easy to see why the coaching staff is so high on this freshman. You know, I thought it was very mature too. Somebody who came in as a reclassified freshman said, hey, listen, this isn't a one and done thing. I've got a multi-year plan. Not really what you hear from kids nowadays. Everybody's looking to make that jump as quick as possible.
Yeah, everybody that wants to be a professional, the goal is NBA, NBA, NBA. But to be thinking about your college experience and how you're going to continue to grow and develop, that is, like you said, Colin, very mature.
Wojcik with the foul on R.J. Davis as clock runs down. Take another look at this nice move. Through traffic, up and under. And that kid's supposed to be in high school still.
I'd say he's ready.
Davis will go to the free throw line. Told you this one's going to be played like a regular game, and you see that happening here with Wojcik fouling Davis with the clock running down and out with a 4-point lead. Davis in and out on the 1-and-1. Last touched by High, and it will go to Blue. So the foul, at least that part of it, what Blue wanted. Cadeau picks up across midcourt. Pull up three, knocks it down. Baycott gonna get called for the foul on Davis. He'll go back to the free throw line.
Needing a bucket here. Cadeau spots and cans. What do we say? A little drama late?
Little drama late. Davis now with just a 1-point lead will go to the line for 1-and-1. Just a reminder, the 27th here in Chapel Hill. It is a Friday, 7:30. Carolina in exhibition against St. Augustine's. Monday, November 6th. 7 o'clock game, ACC Network against Radford to open up the 2023-2024 season. Davis makes good on both. 3-point lead for White, 26 on the clock. Cadeau across midcourt. Same setup, this time they switch. Washington backs off, and Cadeau knocks it down again. Coach Lebo told us he's gonna like it when the spotlight is on, and the spotlight is on him right now.
In a big way. Back-to-back critical threes for Elliot Cadeau.
Just that little bit of separation as Washington laid off, and he pulled the trigger. That's a quick shot, too. Davis back to the free throw line again. Sean May over there coaching up Elliot Cadeau. May and Page, the coaches for Team Blue. May actually this year, first time that he'll be the head coach for the JV team. For a long time, it was Hubert Davis before he became the head coach of the main team.
Helped him gain some of those head coaching experience moments carried over to the much bigger stage of the varsity level.
Again, Davis with a couple of clutch free throws, knocks them both down. 2-point lead. Feel like this has got to be Cadeau. Double team him, so they give it off. Baycott down low. Washington recovers high there. Baycott once, twice. Withers blocked by Washington as well, and White is going to win it. It's exciting when you have live action because you get the experience of seeing what the new team is. We got to do that with women. We got to do that with men. It's even better when you have a final where it comes down to the last couple seconds.
Well, the whole point of this night, Kyle, is to feel the excitement and the intensity of Carolina basketball all over again, get ready for the new season, and thrilling moments like that just underscore that point. Should be a fun year in Chapel Hill for both teams. Start of the regular season just around the corner.
For Matt Krause, I'm Kyle Straub. So long from Chapel Hill. Hope you enjoyed live action with Carolina basketball. First game of the season for the Tar Heels, November 6th against Radford. So long and have a good night from the Dean Dome.